Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, B Farm. Thinking right out here, back in the lab, where I do what I do for you. And take a little break to get some ink up with this piece, but we good now. The sun went down. I'm back doing what I do for you. Let's rock. Right is it? 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinking mission. That's what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, to get all right thinkers to know thyself. That's what the lessons are for. You, as a right thinker, you get the lessons. Your goal should be to know thyself. Let's work together and make it happen. Let's go. A person who knows not. So excuse me. I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. That's what I do. I help you with that. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is wise. Excuse me. No, not they know is spiritually asleep. Sorry about that. I'm here to wake you up. I'm the spiritual alarm clock, here to wake you up with nods and stuff, excuse me. But a person who knows and knows that they know is wise, follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. I'm back in the book. Title, Right Thinkers, let's talk about the complete form of religion is composed of three aspects. So the title is Right Thinkers, let's talk about myth, ritual, and mysticism. Those are three things you should follow in religious practice. Just like Masonic order. You need to put the work in, you need to understand. In order for it to work for you, you have to master all three phases. Let's talk about it right quick. In its complete form and practiced properly, religion is composed of three aspects. They are myth, ritual, and metaphysics, or what we call mystical experience or mysticism. Mystical philosophy while many religions contain rituals, traditions, metaphors, and myths. All religion practice that concept. If you think that your religion is literal, you think that the people really existed, you are so misinformed. There are a few professionals who are trained in understanding what their deeper aspects and psychological implications, metaphysics, and mystical concepts with a spiritual preceptor, sage, guru, master teacher. Thus, what happens? Without them, is often disappointment, frustration, and disillusion amongst many of your followers, as well as some of your leaders within many religions. Again, this is the problem with religions. I understand, I know that, so I'll tell you, that's my point. And practically, watch this, in Western culture, because why? It is difficult to evolve spiritually. Why is it difficult for the Western civilization to evolve spiritually? Why? Because without the proper spiritual guidance, and faith alone is not sufficient, meaning your belief won't get it done. So to practice a belief system is practicing something that's not going to work. And watch this. Faith alone is not sufficient to promote what? The highest spiritual evolution. We know it as nihas. We call it spiritual enlightenment. We call it resurrection, Christhood, all that good stuff. But it's all the same thing. Getting to know thyself, know who you are through what? Through introspection, self, and spiritual research, studying the philosophy. It is now what? Possible to discover mythological vestas, meaning learning the story, get the myth, understand it, practice it, and then the magic will happen for you. That's the mysticism. That's when religion, which can what? Rekindle, properly religion can rekindle the light of spirituality and at the same time increase the possibility of what? You gaining a fuller experience of life. Meaning you will have pleasures, you will have joy just living, not craving desires and chasing the egoistic desires of flesh and money and fame, all that nonsense. Just living and doing and being will be sufficient. Now, that's the exoteric ritualistic forms of religion with which most people, again, are, familiar. Only is the tip of the iceberg. To know you are a Christian, or claim to be Christian, and knowing the stories, quoting verses from the Bible, practicing the ritual, first Sunday coming up, everybody gonna be doing the communion. That's fine. But what do you do at the third level with is the work that you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you go along the program, you ain't know the stories, it was ritual, but if you ain't living and putting in the work, you won't get the third level. You won't get the mysticism. You won't get the experience. Why? You ain't doing the things you need to make it happen. That's why. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. It is only what? A beginning. An invitation or a prompting to what? Seek a deeper, ready? Esoteric discovery. I give you the esoteric meanings of everything that I teach. I only teach esoteric, symbolic lessons. And you can discover deeper esoteric discovery of what? The transcendental truth of existence, aka knowing thyself. There are several what they call high god systems in ancient Egypt mythology. Again, mythology, we telling you it's a mythology. And you got high gods, meaning that what? The highest god or goddess within that system of theology is considered to be the original deity from which all others emanated as cosmic forces. Again, thus, in the Assyrian myth, you have Asar is known as what? Pa-Neter, or the god, aka high god, and creation is composed of what? The cosmic forces which originated from who? The high divinity, The cosmic forces are known as matters, aspects from the god to help sustain nature. Neter, or god and goddesses, it's important to understand this, what? That the high god and goddesses as well as the Egyptian trinities all originated from the same transcendental supreme being. The one God, many names, okay, but one God being what? Which was without name, okay? We call him by whatever name you want, or form. Remember, formless. We humanize God, okay? But watch this. Were referred to as Neter, Neteru, Neter or Neters, supreme being above all gods and goddesses, or Nabercha. It's all a trinity of one person being three different things, concepts, and aspects. Watch this. In this manner, the initiate, you right thinker, you have to understand that all of the gods and goddesses are in reality symbols, okay? Not people, symbols with names that we give them and forms that we give them, which represent the divine in the very manifest forms of nature. Again, that's why we use the falcon for the spirit because it flies and it has qualities that no other bird has. So that makes it special, and that's why they use it. This produces what? A two-aspect format of religion. What's that? In which there is a personal aspect, a transpersonal aspect of God. You not knowing who you are, you have to discover and find and go and search for who you are. Find a teacher, you become a disciple, you learn, you practice, you implement it, and you will reach that level. That's my goal, and that's my job as a right thinker, to get all right thinkers to do what they need to do to make it happen for themselves. That's the purpose. And watch this. This, where we at? Okay, the second one, okay, the form really, the personal aspect is fixed in what? Time and space, and you give it name and form. This form, watch this, is readily understood by who? The masses of human beings with ordinary spiritual awareness, and is used in myths and stories. That should be understood by the Bible thumpers. This Bible is a book of mythological stories, allegorical, and fictional characters. Bam! Now you can work with it, use it for what it's intended to get you where you want to go. But if you run around with the wrong understanding, you're going the wrong way. If you should be going west and you go east, you're going the wrong way. So now the second, the masses, okay, and is used as myths and stories. Again, they need to implement that for that book that y'all got. In the second aspect, the transpersonal side points out what? Interest toward that which lies beyond the symbolic form. This is the unmanifest form of the divine as it is expressed in what? Your mystical teachings of religious mythology. Thus, the high God is a personal symbol or representation with name and form of who? The nameless, the formless, unmanifest, and transcendental supreme being. We have an understanding, we have a belief concept, but in order for you to really get the gist, you have to experience that for yourself. That's the work that you put in to make it happen. That's the Kundalini rising. It only rises through righteous and virtuous action by the individual. They knew that. They taught that. They prophesized and understand it, philosophized it, so that it can be used, and they did it for thousands of years in harmony with themselves as a group of people. We can't have a family gathering without having issues, so trust me. I went there to get this philosophy. That's what I got. That's what I'm trying to give to you. That's what I know worked for them. It'll work for us too. Single supreme transcendental being. Who is that? We call them Panetta, Netaru, Nabercha. It's the unmanifest realm which beyond time and space in names and forms. It's, hidden. It's hidden. Where? Inside you. That's the secret. Where you got to find it. Look inside yourself. So watch this. There are several forms of the Trinity of ancient Egypt religion, and depending on the geographical locality where the teaching was espoused will give you who they represent. And these included, you ready? Amun, Mut, and Kansu. That was the, what's that? Concept for them. Then you had in Memphis, or Hecapata, you had Ptah, Sekhmet, and Nefertim, the Trinity. And Anuim, they used Kunum, Anukas, and Satis. That's the father, mother, and daughter. That's the female offspring from the Trinity. How about that? Then they got the Trinity that they use for the gods. Ptah, Sokar, and Asar. That's three people in one. Sokar is Asar in the afterlife. Okay? Ptah is the self-created one. Put himself into existence. That's the concept. And however, the most popular of the trinities throughout all ancient Egypt was that of Asar, Aset, and Haru. Why is that? Good question. High gods and goddesses manifesting as Trinity. Amun, Ra, Ptah, Asar, Aset, Haru. Now, the activity or awareness within the manifest of the symbolic area of religious practice, remember this is all symbology, is within the purview of the mythological and ritual stages of religious practice, while the activity within the unmanifest area is covered by what? The third and final level of religion. Oh, they have level? Yes, hello. The first two. First one is mythic, the myth, stories telling, the ritual, going to church and participating. The third is actually putting that stuff to use in your regular life, and you had a mystic experience for yourself. That's the concept of religion. That's the purpose of it. When it's done right, that's what happens. Now, what's this? We have stage. Okay. Now, when you have perfect or good, correct religious practice, the activity within the unmanifest area are covered by the third and final level of religious practice. That is what? The mystical or the metaphysical level. What the hell is that? We're about to find out. The first sophisticated system of religion and yoga mystical philosophy is historical times occurred in where? Ancient Egypt. This system included all of the gods and goddesses which in later times became known as individually popular in various cities throughout ancient Egypt. At the heart of this system of gods and goddesses was Shita, Shtai, and that's the hidden and the unmanifest essence of the universe. That's Amen, the hidden one. We're trying to get you to him. We're showing you how to find him. Also known as Nabercha and Amun. Okay? The system of religion. They say belief system. System of religion of ancient Egypt was called Shita, or the hidden way of the unmanifest supreme being, the hidden one. We taught you how to find him within yourself. Hidden way of the unmanifest supreme being. Let's talk about that right quick. Now the term Shita means unmanifest, and it relates to the fact that the ancient Egyptians realized the illusionary nature of the physical reality. The phenomenal world is as it is perceived by who? Ordinary senses, which are the five senses of the body of the human being, is not the absolute reality or existence. In modern times, you got quantum physics, which experiments and have uncovered what? The facts that physical matter is not physical at all, but it's energy and its various states of manifestation or vibrational states. That energy is held together and sustained as well as what? Given, as well as a given order by who? God, through certain cosmic forces. Again, the elements, those forces are what Shita Netta calls Neteru, gods and goddesses. However, physical experiments can now only lead to indications about the Neteru, but in order to have a deeper understanding, there must be a subtle spiritual experiments and communion with them. Thus, the ancient Egyptians must discover, read back. The ancient Egyptians discovered that the phenomenal universe is only a what? Manifest form which arises from a deeper unmanifest source. Again, he brought into creation from himself, out of himself. And this notion was extensively explained in the Memphite theology, which is what? The theory of relativity relating to time and space was also expressed in the ancient Egyptians' creation stories long before Albert Einstein proposed his theory of relativity. The entire system of mystical philosophy is the hidden supreme being, as well as what? The method through which that being manifests in the forms of phenomenal physical universe and even individual consciousness, which explain in progress stages in the theology of the Trinity known as, you ready? Amun Ra Ptah, which was said to have arisen out of what? The supreme being, Nabercha, as ancient Egyptian history moved on through thousands of years. Now each segment of this Trinity was adopted by a particular priesthood and the locality where they set up about to what? And explain and expound on the philosophy of that particular segment of the Trinity. Watch this. The priests and the priestess of ancient Egyptian city of Anu, which the first time, they adopted Ra, the priest and high priestess of ancient Egyptian city of Hetekapota, adopted Ptah's concept, and the priests and priestess of the ancient Egyptian city of Waset, or Nuat, we call it Thebes, they adopted Amun. Again, the three aspects, everybody took the aspect and worked with it. Now, in similar manner, the theology of the city of Adbu is centered around the myth of Asar, okay, while theology or in Philae and other localities centered around the teachings of Aset. See? One of the reasons why the Asarian Trinity of Asar, Aset, and Haru was so powerful, I can tell you that for myself. Watch this, is that it incorporated the teachings given in the entire primordial Trinity system under Bircha, Amun, Ra, Ptah, and brought them into the level of common folk, meaning everybody could practice this theology or philosophy. It personalized the divinity in such a way that every man and woman could partake of the myth, practice it, and the rituals in your everyday life. That's what makes it a religion. Okay. Not that, no, you practice it daily to perfect it, and thereby attaining greater and greater closeness to the divine. When you live right, do right, and worship and praise, no matter what religion you profess, you're going to be blessed for that. Now, in this sense, every ancient Egyptian citizen and the followers of the Assyrian religion outside Egypt understood that the myth was in reality about every individual. It's your life story. It plays out perfect. And if you understood it, you really get the concept. That's why it's the number one and the favorite. Why? It explains a lot of things that we have questions, about life, and it plays out perfect. Trust me. That's why I like it. Now, let me wrap it up. The mystical philosophy concerning the Trinity myth is so powerful, especially the Trinity of Asar, Aset, and Haru, that when correctly understood and practiced, it holds the keys to understanding the nature of creation and of the nature of human consciousness. And the former being, this is why the system of a Trinity was used in the religious systems of India, who adopted our philosophy, and later on Christianity. The former being molded after the ancient Egyptian system indirectly, and the latter being directly molded after the ancient Egyptian system of the Assyrian resurrection, meaning Jesus Christ story. The portrayal of God as the Father who begets a Son, S-O-N. God, the begotten Son is the S-U-N, not S-O-N. I'm trying to get you to understand that. And it says, he who begot a Son who becomes his paraclete and revealer occurs first and with most prominency in ancient Egypt in the mythology of Nefertiti and Asar Haru in Egypt was the reincarnation of Asar. We are our Father's reincarnation in the flesh. Y'all said Jesus. No, it's us. The reincarnation of Asar, which is his father. Haru is me and you, who was himself an incarnation of who? The higher God Ra, the absolute abode of all things. At the same time, Haru is the symbol of the human soul, us, the spirit that's in us, the essential nature, and the innate hero or the heroine within every human being. In much the same way, Jesus is the revealer and the paraclete of God, according to the Christian faith. The Father is In Eastern mythological philosophy, we have Buddha, we got Krishna, are considered to be avatars or incarnations of God. The original idea of avatarism was what? That from time to time, when the unrighteous, meaning evil, is starting to take control of where we are right now, reaches a certain level, and we about at that level right now, we're gonna need a Messiah, we're gonna need help. Reach a certain level, and it threatens to what? Overwhelm righteousness. God has to step in, okay, and would manifest on earth in what? Human form, to do what? To restore virtue in the world. The purpose of avatarism from the divine point of view is to sustain his creation by maintaining what? The balance between the pairs of opposite in creation. Bad is starting to push up and good is starting to be pushed down. That's not balance, okay? We're out of balance, so to speak. Watch this. And when it's like that, God himself, the disparity in the pairs of opposite, I just showed you the balance is out because more evil than good is being done, is most evident in what? In the rise of unrighteousness in society. We have a president that's got to be the president and he's a criminal, felony. If it don't get no more unrighteous than that. This is ancient information. Still, what's going on today is still going on today. Unrighteous and evil has always been around. We keep it under control. Right now, we not having good control. Why? We letting it run amok, so to speak. So it's going to control us. That's not good. So understand that. In the purpose of avatarism, okay, in ancient Egypt mythology, watch this. The concept of avatarism goes back into the pre-dynastic era to what? The incarnation, you ready, of Het Hadu as the what? Destructive eye of Ra. And he sent her to get what? All the unrighteous who didn't respect him or worship him. So he's always had a craving for what? The evil ones who didn't do what he needed them to do. Take care of them. Death. And that was the eye of Ra. And you got Asar and Aset bringing up the rear, teaching the people how to be righteous. Wrapping up again. Oh, I see it's getting a little long. But in ancient Egyptian mythology, the children of God, we're all the children of God. The company of God and goddesses are not only avatars, but they are also symbols or aspects of what? The human soul, our personality, and of creation itself. They through their symbolic forms are to be treated as what? Models for the kind of behavior which leads to happiness and spiritual freedom, aka enlightenment, liberation. In this respect, the incarnation of God as an avatar is really a metaphor which relates to what? The potential within every human being to what? Discover and manifest their divine nature. And in so doing, what happened? Become an avatar. Thus, the passions, actions, relationships, teachings, and fates of the gods and goddesses reveal the story of what? The human soul and the path it must follow in order to attain knowledge of itself, of its true divine nature, and to achieve liberation from what? Ignorance, pain, and suffering due to what? Bondage to the world of time and space, being ignorant of things past the physical world. That's the spiritual concept, spirituality. And in ancient Egypt, the concept of God, the ultimate and absolute reality behind all physical manifestations, was called Amen. Amen, or Nabercha, or Parnetta, the God, the supreme being. In Hindu mythology, he's called the Brahman. To the Taoist, it is the Tao. Okay. God is a metaphor for a mystery that transcends all human categories of thought. And it depends on how much you want to think about it. Whether or not it's doing you any good, whether it's putting you in touch with the mystery, which is the ground of your own being. That's the conversation that was said by Joseph Campbell. Now, in this manner, the ancient Egyptian sage who originally established these teachings, of mystical philosophy use metaphors and symbols to describe the ultimate and transcendental reality which is beyond the grasp of ordinary human senses and the mind. And to describe this transcendental reality, the term God, Supreme Being, the Absolute, Parnetta, Nirvana, etc., were created in any attempt to provide a concept which the human mind could understand. So I hear my man say, I worship the God of my understanding. If you have an understanding of God, that's the one you should be worshiping. If you have a belief in a God, you can't worship something you don't know. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. And in closing, right thinkers, you all live to be 100, give me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinker like you passed away. Oh, I'll be back. I got more.